Hello and welcome everybody, Mary here. Today we're going to be going over how to use Sketchup to draw your sketch that you would have done on site with your data collection form when you're doing home energy audits. So we're just going to go through a few things, what version of Sketchup you need, where to download it. There's going to be an extension that we can use that helps us get the volume super easily for the house. And we'll just cover the basic tools and everything you're going to need to know to how to draw a 3D model of the home, which is very helpful. You can get the perimeters very quickly, surface areas, it's easy to get average heights using SketchUp, and it's easy to draw cathedrals and stuff like that too, and get the volume obviously is a huge help. So we'll just hop right into it. So first thing you're going to want to do is probably just Google this, but I'll put a link in the description below. So we're looking for SketchUp Make 2017. And the best place to get that is going to be from download.cnet.com. I don't believe they have it on the actual SketchUp website anymore. They only keep a few versions prior to the newest. And SketchUp Make 2017, how it works is you download, you install it. They still give you the free trial for using all the Pro Tools, which we don't need. After the 2 weeks is up, then it just becomes free to use forever. So download this, and then once it's installed, we're just going to open it up. And it's going to look something like this. The default template is feet and inches. If you come down here, I want to set mine in feet because I take all my measurements in feet. And you can see here that it says units are in inches, units are in meters, inches, etc. So you can either find a template that is in feet, or you can just use the first one. Hit start using SketchUp, and then once it opens, your SketchUp's probably going to look something like this. Probably gonna have the instructor tab open. It's gonna be this dude here. If you don't want him in your template, you can just click on him, hit delete. And then right now, if I use my line tool to draw, and if I type in say 15 and hit enter, it's gonna make a 15-inch line. I want it to make a 15-foot line. So in order to do that, we're just gonna go file, or no, sorry, we're gonna go window, model info, click on units, and we're going to switch this to engineering, which defaults to feet. And I'm going to make my precision 2 decimal points. And then from there, we're just going to go file, save as template, name it whatever you want, maybe feet. Hit save, and then make sure set as default template is picked. And then every time you start SketchUp and just say start using SketchUp without picking a template, this will be your template. And then next thing is you're going to want to download this tool. It's called Solid Inspector. If you have a login for SketchUp, or you just make one with your email, then you'll be able to download it. We want to go to the extension warehouse. And then when you're here, we just search Solid Inspector. And there's two. I use this one. It's the newer one. So you just click that. And if you have logged into SketchUp, you need to sign in to continue. And then that'll just say download. And then once it's downloaded, it should pop up hopefully on your screen. It might look something like this. You can just drag and drop it up here. If it's not here, it hasn't popped up anywhere, you might be able to right click on your toolbar, say Solid Inspector, hopefully it'll show up. I have heard that sometimes it won't show up like this for some people, but if you go to your tools, clicking that is the same as clicking this button, and it will be here. So hopefully you'll have it in your SketchUp somewhere. And if you can't find it at all, you want to go to your extension manager, just make sure it's enabled. So this is my Solid Inspector, just make sure it's enabled and you should be good. And then we basically have SketchUp set up and ready to go. So let's pretend that these are all, drawings that were on my data collection form. So we've got our basement perimeter drawn and measured out, got our main floor perimeter drawn and measured out, got our second floor. I've got dotted lines here to show that it's cathedral ceiling. And then we've got our measurements for our cathedral. So we're going to pretend that this is on our data collection form, and then we're going to draw this in SketchUp. So for this, we're going to assume that this basement measurement, these are exterior. That way I can show you how to use the offset tool. Main floor and second floor, we'll say these are interior measurements. We'll just go over the tools super quickly before we get started. So basically, we've got an eraser tool. You can switch that by hitting E. Our select tool you can get to by hitting spacebar, and that just lets us click on stuff, which is handy. Our line tool is going to be the tool you're using the most. And how you use it, you just click once, pull over. You want it to be on the red axis if you're going left to right, and you want it to be on the green if you're going front to back. And if you need to draw up or down, you want it to be on the blue axis like so. Some other tools, push and pull. So this tool, once you've drawn your interior perimeter, if you click on your floor and pull up, you could actually just type in 8 and hit enter, and now we've got an 8-foot main floor, like so. If you hold control, or just hit control, sorry, don't hold it, just hit it, and click on our floor again, and we pull up, you can see it keeps a line. So this is really good for drawing headers. So say we need to have a header on top of our main floor, and let's say it's 10 inches, I can just type 10, little quotation mark symbol for inches, and hit enter. And now we've got a header placed on our main floor as well. This is our offset tool. I'll show you how to use that in a minute, but this can let us make the perimeters larger or smaller. So if we're taking exterior measurements, we need to offset it to be interior. Move tool, we can use this to move around and build our 3D model. Rotate tool, shouldn't really need to use that too much. Scale tool, don't need to worry about that. There's a tape measure, but I never really use that. The text tool, if you click on something, it'll give you the floor area. Or if you click on the line, it'll give you the dimension. But you can also click and then type in whatever you want. So if you had to make a note, type it out and then just click anywhere else and it'll have that there for you. The color tool, if you're going to color your stuff in case you have different wall exterior finishes or things you need to kind of keep note of. And then these are all your move tools. So orbit lets you rotate like this. The hand lets you go like this, front and back, and you can also zoom in or out, but there's a much easier way to use all of these tools. So with your mouse, if you click in the mouse wheel, you get the rotate tool. If you click in the mouse wheel and hold shift, you get the pan tool, and then the mouse wheel, just scroll it forward or backwards to zoom in and out. For moving, I just use my mouse, and sometimes I hold shift, so I need to rotate around. If I kind of need to reposition, zoom in, slide over here to look at this. I'm just using my mouse and the shift tool sometimes. All right, so let's get into drawing these. So let's say this is our data collection form, exterior measurements. We'll just draw them exterior and then offset them. So I'm just going to click, pull to the right, type in 31, hit enter. Click, or now I don't need to click again because it's still active. So I'll just type 16, enter. I'll pull to the left, type 15, enter. Pull down, get it on the green, 10, enter. I don't have this next measurement, but what I can do is when I'm on the red axis, if I hold shift, it locks it into the red. And then if I just click here, it'll make it the same length and line it up for me. So I'll click. So now that's the right length, and then I can just join that together. So now we've got our exterior perimeter drawn. We'll double click it so it's all highlighted. The floor area and the perimeter are blue. We'll click our offset tool and then just click anywhere, doesn't really matter. Just click, don't hold, and then we'll pull in because we need to make this smaller. So with basements, we're going to offset it by a foot. So I'll just type 1 and hit enter. And then my exterior perimeter is still out or highlighted. So now if I hit delete, it goes away. And now you can see we've got 29 for our length there. We've got 14 instead of 16, etc., etc. So that's good. And then I've actually, so this is going to be also considered exterior. And rather than redraw it, I'm just going to double click it, copy paste. And then we'll just offset this. So if you have exterior measurements for your main floor, you want to pull in, offset by 1/2 foot. So you can type 6 inches or 0.5, enter, delete our exterior. Now let's say that we forgot to highlight our exterior. You can click on a line, hit delete. And now that none of these lines are connected to the other one, if you triple click, it'll highlight everything, hit delete. Like so. And now we'll get our this one, let's say it's exterior again. Click, pull in, 0.5, enter, delete. So now we've got all of that information. And then for our cathedral, we know that at the peak, it's 14 feet tall and the side walls are going to be 8. So that should be pretty much everything we need. So I like to keep I call these kind of the perimeter drawings with easy to get the floor areas. I mean, it's super easy on this house anyway. It's not complicated. But if you do have a really complicated house, I just like to keep a copy of all these. And then I triple click all of them, copy, paste, and just kind of move them behind. And then I'm going to actually build these into my 3D model. So I'm going to click on this one. You just want to make sure you don't have everything highlighted, because if you do, when you go to use the push-pull tool, it can get a little weird. So anyways, you'll see hover over this with the push-pull. Let's say our basement, let's say it's 7.5 feet tall, 7.5, enter. And then let's say we've got a 10-inch header. So I'm going to draw my basement header on the bottom of my main floor. So we'll just pull this up 10 inches. And now I'm going to hit Control. So I get my little plus icon. And let's say the main floor is 8 feet. So now we've got our header as well as our main floor. And then let's put a little header on the bottom of our second floor, another 10 inches. And then we'll pull this up let's say 8 feet again. And sometimes you'll get these lines. It just depends sort of how you draw. So if I drew and then drew again, sometimes you get lines coming up. You can just use the eraser tool, kind of hold the tool in and then swipe over the line you want to get rid of. Or if you're using the select tool, just click on your line and hit delete. Okay, so now we've got pretty much everything. We just got to draw the cathedral now. So our side walls are 8 feet. So when we use the line tool on a line we've already drawn, you can see it snaps to the endpoints. It also gives us a nice little midpoint. So if I go down here to my midpoint, pull up on the blue, type in 14, and then I'm just going to connect that, and then click on the top again, connect it to the other side. I'm going to get rid of this, and then with the push-pull tool, I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to pull it back, and you can see I can snap it right to the endpoint. So now we've got our cathedral drawn in as well. Now we'll just stack this all together and then we'll be able to get the volume. So triple click that, control or copy, paste. I'm going to move it over here. And then because our basement and main floor, there's an offset of 1/2 foot difference between the two. So what I'm going to do is with my line tool, I'm going to pick a corner where I know I can place my main floor. I'm going to go out on the red 0.5 and I'm going to go away from the building 0.5 on the green. Get this little anchor point and we're going to set that there. But as you can see, when I copy and paste this one, my move tool is on the front left corner of the house. I don't want that, so I'm just going to click to let go. And then you need this to all still be highlighted. We're going to click the back bottom corner. And we're going to move it right here. And that way it's just offset properly. Not a big deal when the perimeters are the same. We could have just set it on top. We'd still get the same volume and everything. If you have a more complicated house that say has exposed floors and stuff, you're going to want to anchor it on properly just so you get the right exposed floor stuff. And then for our second floor, we can just plop this down right on top. So hit copy, hit paste. I don't want this corner. There's nowhere for me to really sit this down nicely. I'm going to go with the back corner. Click that. Place it on top and click again. And now we basically have our house drawn. So I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Don't really need to, but I just like to. And what I like to do is when we get this to be the volume of the house, we're not going to be able to interact with this anymore. But right now you can see I can click, I can get this ceiling area up here. I can click there. If I hold control and click on the other side, I can get my slope ceiling area. I can get my wall areas by clicking around, that kind of stuff. But when we put it into the mode to get volume, we won't be able to do that. So what I like to do is triple click my whole model, copy and paste it behind. And then to get the volume, we just want to right click, say make group. And then once it's in group form, either click your solid inspector tool here or go to tools, solid inspector. This will pop up, say fix all. And now we've got the volume right there. And I like to copy my volume use my little text tool, click on the roof, click off somewhere, paste in my volume, and then click to lock that in. So now we've got our model, we've got our volume, and we can easily get our perimeters by double clicking, holding shift, clicking on the floor area to get rid of the floor area. You can see a basement perimeter is 106, main floor perimeter is 110, second floor perimeter is 90. And we can also get our floor areas. So our above grade floor area, 1050, our below grade floor area of 546. Yeah, so that is basically SketchUp in a nutshell. There's obviously more things we could do. Say you were doing a new home or a house and they provided you the blueprints. And maybe it has that the roof slope, maybe it doesn't give you the height, but maybe it gives you the roof slope. You can use a protractor tool and you just want to kind of get it like so. Click on your line. This is kind of setting your anchor point as flat. And then you pull up and then say the roof slope is 1012. You just type 10:12. You can see that in the bottom right of SketchUp there. Hit enter. And then you can go from your midpoint up to this line. And then we can draw in. Now we've got our 1012 slope. So there's some other stuff you can obviously do, some tricks and things. Hopefully everything I've shown you will be a good starting point to what you need to do. So that's just my little introduction to SketchUp. So hopefully that'll get you started. Once you get the hang of it, you can draw most of your drawings right off your DCF into SketchUp. And, you know, it'll take you 5 minutes or so, give or take, to get the full 3D model in the volume. Obviously, it's going to be a little slower at the start, getting used to the controls, how to use the camera and everything to kind of move around, and getting used to, like, I like to use all the shortcuts. So like E for eraser, L for line, P for push pull, space bar for select tool and stuff like that. Yeah, but I hope this helps you get started, and it's a handy tool. It takes a few minutes to draw your SketchUp. You get your perimeters, you get your volume, everything super quickly, so I find it super useful. I use it pretty much for every single file I do. So I hope this helps, and have yourselves a good one.